think give Cincinnati a ton of credit in terms of just kind of digging down there when we got the lead. And it wasn't one thing that got us. They were able to get us in a lot of different areas. We turned the ball over during that stretch. We had 3 or 4 shots at the rim that we didn't finish. They made some, high-level offensive plays. They, got the ball into Trey, for post-ups. We switched the matchup and got a, critical stop. They had only 7 offensive rebounds for the game. I remember 2 of them. One was when we were up 13. They got a putback, and the other one was off of a really good defensive play by Mike, forcing Trey Scott into a tough post shot, and we didn't cut out on the backside, and Williams got the offensive rebound. But, unfortunately, some of our things that we've struggled with came into play again. The turnovers in the second half, 12 turnovers in the second half, and we were really moving the ball and sharing the ball well with 14 assists. I don't know if we got an assist, in that, during that, probably from the 13-minute mark till probably 2 or 3 minutes left in the game. We were driving the ball, and we were just getting in too deep. So once you get it in deep, the only option you have is to shoot it. Earlier, once we were getting in the paint, we were spraying the ball around. We got wide open shots. That's why we were 10 of 19 from the 3. But we just unfortunately didn't capitalize on the same type of drives in the second half in the last 13 minutes that we did in the first 27 minutes of the game.
It looked like they you continued shooting well. It just looked like they kind of closed on you a little bit better in the second half, limited your three-point looks, correct?
Yeah, I don't know how many did we take in the second half. What were we in the second half from the 3?
4 of 7.
What's that?
4 of 7.
So, what it was is we drove the ball too deep in those last 13 minutes. Because once you get it that deep, there is no option. The only option is to make it, get the shot up in the rim, and get an offensive rebound, because they were swarming. And so you got to get rid of it before the swarm comes. And we did a much better job of that to start the second half. We got one in the middle drive, one in the left corner. We got one in transition with David in the right corner. But we just, we sometimes get a little too revved up and just keep attacking, and you got to be able to, make better decisions on those drives.
Looked like their full court pressure and on-ball pressure from baseline to baseline really tripped you guys up in the second half. Can you kind of discuss how hard it is to break that down?
Well, I think there was a couple that we were didn't execute as well as you need to execute. You got to run the baseline when you can run the baseline. A couple were off rebounds that we got the ball that they just took away from us. You got to control those. You can't pick up the ball when the trap comes. Just some fundamental stuff that you got to be able to get done. And it started with, and it was 3 or 4 of those, 2 or 3 offensive rebounds, a turnover, 2 in the half court, 2 or 3 tough shots. It was like a cluster of 4 or 5 different things that all put together like a perfect storm. And then they still got to score on the other end. But the problem was some of them on the turnovers and the offensive rebounds and the half-court turnovers led to easier baskets for them. We couldn't get our defense set. That's why they shot 64% in the second half. We could not get our defense set. They went obviously a little smaller with Vaught out of the game, and their pressure on the perimeter really stopped us from being able to get the ball in a post-feed situation to Mike Dort.
Coach, Keith Williams off the dribble, how tough is, he's so quick, how tough is that, like, to make up ground for, I guess, when he gets by the first line of defense?
Yeah, one, you got to guard the ball better.
Mm-hmm.
We had multiple guys guard him, we didn't guard him, and then you got to get some help. You got to get some help. And especially, there was probably 2 or 3 times where it was the big guy in the gap guarding a non-shooter. You can't give up that dribble split. You can't give up that dribble split. I think, early, kind of threw us for a loop with McNeil hitting a couple threes. He hasn't shot the ball well all year long. But we talked about in halftime in terms of staying in the gaps, not giving up dribble splits, and especially when Williams has a ball, because he's going to go with it. When he gets it, it's go time, and you got to be down in the stance, and you got to do a really good job of guarding the ball.
I think they kind of switched up their lineup in the second half, took out Boyd, put in Daria, and it seemed to space the floor a little bit more and was able to get those dribble penetrations. What do you guys have to work on, for Saturday for the tournament to kind of curtail some of those easy looks at the basket when they go a little bit smaller?
Well, we got to get better. The guy on the ball's got to guard the ball better, but you got to get help too. So the guys off the ball got to be down in the stance, and you can't give up those dribbles, dribble splits, especially if you're guarding a non-shooter, non-scorer from the perimeter. And it's not like you were guarding a guy that hasn't done that for the last 2 years either. You know what I mean? And as I said, Trey Scott, I think over the last 5 games is averaging 19 points and 17 rebounds a game. Here's a guy who 4 years ago redshirted. Redshirted. And I think as a freshman and sophomore, he played a total of maybe 10 minutes a game. But he just kept getting better. And he was, as good, if not the best player on the court today. Because when they needed it, they went, obviously Williams was fantastic, but when they needed baskets down that stretch, they were going into Trey Scott.
Anything else for Coach?